Okie dokie. Today, we're going to learn about the Hylics in Gnosticism. A Hylic is a person entirely bound to the material world lacking spiritual awareness or knowledge. And today, this is the concept we're going to explore. Let's get into it. For those that are new to the topic, Gnosticism is an ancient religious movement that emerged around the early centuries of the Common Era. It's all about seeking deeper spiritual knowledge, or gnosis, which leads to enlightenment and liberation. Gnostics believe that the material world is flawed and created by a lesser-known deity known as the Demiurge, which I have a video about that, and every other video about Gnosticism pretty much repeats the whole Demiurge thing. Anyways, you can check it out in the playlist called Gnosticism. So, Gnosticism divides humanity into three categories based on their spiritual awareness: the Hylics, the Psychics, and the Pneumatics. Today, we're focusing on the Hylics, these poor souls who are completely bound to the material world. Think of them as the ultimate materialists, folks who can't get enough of the physical pleasures and worldly achievements that they are seeking. The term Hylic comes from the Greek word hyle, meaning matter or wood. In Gnostic thought, Hylics are people whose existence and consciousness are dominated by material concerns. They're the ones who are all about the here and now, completely absorbed in the tangible aspects of life. It's kind of like a person who is utterly obsessed with money, power, and physical pleasure. They're the ones chasing the latest gadget or money or the biggest houses and the most extravagant lifestyles. So according to Gnosticism, these Hylics are spiritually blind and unaware of the higher realities beyond the material world. But to understand where Hylics fit in, we need to look at the Gnostic hierarchy. At the top, we have the Pneumatics. These are the spiritually enlightened individuals who possess a deep connection to the divine. They're the ones who naturally incline towards Gnosis and are well on their way to spiritual liberation. Then we have the Psychics. These folks have some spiritual awareness and possess a soul. They're capable of moral reasoning and can achieve Gnosis through effort and guidance. They're kind of like the middle ground, not entirely lost in the material world, but not fully enlightened either. And then at the bottom, we have the Hylics, which is funny because it doesn't mention whether or not the Hylics have souls. They're completely immersed in the material world with no interest in spiritual matters. Their lives are all about sensory experiences and material gain, and they lack any spiritual knowledge or insight. Hylics are deeply attached to the material world and live under the influence of the Demiurge. This means they're spiritually blind and unable to perceive the higher divine realities. They're stuck in a cycle of material desire and ignorance, and they are unable to break free and attain Gnosis. It's like being in a never-ending rat race, always chasing after the next big things, but never finding true fulfillment. The Demiurge's control over the Hylics manifests as spiritual blindness, keeping them trapped in the illusion of the material world. But what does this mean for the Hylics' behavior and ethics? Because they're so focused on material gain and physical pleasure, their actions are often driven by selfish desires. They might engage in unethical behavior to achieve their goals, since they lack the moral and ethical understanding that comes with spiritual awareness. It's not that Hylics are bad people or evil. It's because they have different priorities, and it's how they focus on the material world that influences their actions. Without spiritual guidance, they're more likely to make choices that are self-serving and short-sighted. Gnosticism isn't about condemning anyone, though. It's about understanding different states of being and striving for spiritual growth. Some people just don't want it. Even Hylics have the potential for transformation, although it's probably a bit more challenging for them. Now, there's a story about Gnosticism and the journey through the material world. It's called the Descent of Inanna. She's also known by Ishtar. In this ancient Mesopotamian myth, Inanna, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, decides to visit the underworld ruled by her sister Ereshkigal. As Inanna descends, she must pass through 7 gates, and at each gate she is stripped of her garments and symbols of power. By the time she reaches Ereshkigal, she stands naked and powerless. This journey symbolizes the stripping away of ego and the material attachments that define our earthly existence. It's a spiritual metaphor for the journey of the soul, shedding the layers of materialism and ego. Inanna's descent and eventual ascent also highlight the themes of death, transformation, and rebirth, which are central to many spiritual traditions, which includes Gnosticism. So how does that story relate to the concept of the Hylics and even to our own modern world in today's society? We often place a high value on material success, wealth, and physical appearance. It's a world where consumerism is king, and many people are caught up in the pursuit of material goods and social status. Just like in Gnostic thought, this focus on materialism can lead to a sense of emptiness and spiritual disconnection. The concept of Hylics serves as a reminder to look beyond the surface and seek deeper meaning in our lives. It encourages us to balance our material pursuits with spiritual growth and self-awareness. And whether you're exploring spirituality or practicing mindfulness or simply taking time to reflect on your own values, there are many ways to move beyond the material and connect with something greater. It's all about finding balance and striving for a more fulfilling and enlightened existence. So what can we learn from the concept of the Hylics, and how do we apply this knowledge to our own lives? Well, awareness and reflection. Take the time to reflect on your values and priorities. Are you overly focused on material success? Are there ways you can incorporate more spiritual or meaningful practices into your life? You also want to strive for balance between material and spiritual pursuits. It's not about rejecting the material world. It's integrating it with a deeper sense of purpose and connection. You also want to practice mindfulness and gratitude. Being present and appreciating what you have can help shift your focus from constant desire to contentment and fulfillment. And exploring spiritual practices that resonate with you, whether it's meditation, prayer, yoga, whatever. These practices can help you connect with your inner self and the divine. You also want to surround yourself with a supportive community that encourages spiritual growth and self-awareness. Having like-minded individuals can provide inspiration and guidance on your journey. There's another thing. Toxic, negative people. Get rid of the negative in your life. It's okay if people are down. It's okay if people are, not in a mood or whatever else like that. But I'm talking about like dour, negative people. Everything sucks. Everything's a problem. You don't need that. It's something that I've struggled with for a long, long time. And I can be a chameleon when it comes to certain people that I enjoy being around. But if they're always dour, negative, everything's a problem, I also become that way. And I had to get away from those people because it affects you. It affects you physically. It affects you mentally. And nobody wants to be with you. Nobody wants to hang out. So be mindful of all that stuff. These people, places, these things, whatever, whether it's work or it's an environment that you normally go to, if it's a negative environment and it's not giving you what you seek, walk away from it. It's going to be difficult, but in the long run, I think that that's going to help anybody get back into a right frame of mind and move forward. So I want to touch on a couple of other categories in Gnostic hierarchy. I'll be doing videos on these as well. Psychics and Pneumatics. The Pneumatics are those who have some level of spiritual awareness. They possess a soul and can engage in moral reasoning. While they are not fully enlightened, they have the potential to achieve Gnosis through effort and guidance. They're kind of like the bridge between the Hylics and the Pneumatics. The Pneumatics are the spiritually enlightened individuals. They have a deep connection to the divine and naturally inclined towards Gnosis. They're the ones who have transcended the material world and achieved a state of spiritual liberation. Understanding these categories helps us see the spectrum of spiritual awareness and the potential for growth. It's not about labeling or judging, but recognizing where you are on your journey and striving to move forward. The Hylics in Gnostic belief represent the material-bound aspect of humanity. It provides a stark contrast to the spiritually aware psychics in Pneumatics. Just understanding the characteristics and limitations of Hylics helps us to gain insight into our own spiritual journey and the importance of seeking deeper meaning beyond the material world. I wanted to add, I know a couple of people that are very much balanced, and I am absolutely amazed about their journey. And they're friends of mine, not just I know them, they're friends of mine. And they don't care about anything in regards to, I want to just quote, materialism. They have their places to live. They do the things necessary. They have their TVs or whatever else. But they're balanced nature and helping people and this and that and the other thing. Like I said, it's amazing to watch someone that is balanced go through this journey where I'm completely out of balance. And I used to chase materialistic things. I kind of still do. And I'm looking, I've been searching for balance all of my life, and I partially found it, but not on the level of some of these people that I know. And it's truly amazing to see if you're paying attention. It's truly amazing to see the ones that aren't balanced, the ones that are balanced, and the ones that are trying to attain balance and are struggling and don't know how to change. You can give all the advice you want, and they'll take your advice, but they have to be able to do this, and they struggle with the change no matter what. And I've already droned on enough about this, but I just wanted to say that I'm amazed, and I think it's great to be able to be associated with people on either side that want to change, are trying to change, and the ones that have found this balance in life. That's all I got. Hey, did you know that we have a Patreon? Yeah, like everybody else, we have a Patreon. So if you're looking for scripts to the videos, books on the occult or secret societies, UFOs, conspiracies, things like that, we're putting them up there. We also have unedited versions of the podcast where you get to listen to me make mistakes, and all of the podcasts, which are available and will be available on YouTube. However, on Patreon, they'll be commercial free. No ads. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. If you like it, hit that subscribe button for us. If you don't like it, that's okay too. Other than that, have a great day.